Hi, I'm Chin Liu.
And I'm Sal, and this is our next make. A few days ago was March 14th, and for those of you who are looking for any excuse to eat dessert, you know that it was Pie Day. So we got together with some of our friends and had a lot of different pies.
There are so many to taste. One of the things I struggle with, though, is when I'm serving a piece of pie, how to properly slice it so that everyone at the party can get the slice that they want.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to make our own kitchen utensils, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to do that and solve some of the problems we have when cutting pies.
It would be so great if this tool that we design can have the ability to help us measure, like somehow mark the edge and let me know where like a 1/6 of a slice or an 1/8 or a 1/16 of a slice is.
Yeah, I think we can do a lot with this design. I think we can make the cutting ability match perfectly to this pie pan that we have. And I think we can do that marking that you're talking about, but do it sort of before it's baked. Press in little marks that let you know the different angles.
Oh, that's a great idea. So in a way, you're crimping the crust and you're actually marking it. Can we 3D print it and check out the prototype?
Yeah, we definitely need to prototype it. We're using Play-Doh. We're going to pretend we're baking a 2-crust pie. So normally we would take our knife or our cutter and trim off all the excess. The server works well in that regard. And then what we really want to test is the crimper. So we made our little prototype, and we're going to just start here on the outside, press down, and it's going to mark and crimp all in one step. And what that does is it gets us 15-degree increments, so no matter what size pie someone wants, make their first cut here.
What if they want a 1/6?
If they want a 1/6, they would count out 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a huge piece. Who wants a 1/6? But let's say, oh, someone changed their mind, they just want a sliver. They can get just a sliver. Okay, now that we're confident in our design, we need to cut it out of stainless steel. To do that, we're going to try a service called SendCutSend. They've got a simple website where you can upload your design, choose your material, and make your payment. Then they get started making your parts and get them shipped to you super fast. And every step along the way, it's really clear what's going on with your order. Our order from SendCutSend just arrived. I'm super excited to see the parts. Let's tear it open. It came with Twizzlers. Can you see that? That's pretty awesome. It also comes with a cool sticker. Let's check this out. Go deep. That's awesome. And there they are. You can see that. There are 5 stacked all nice and neatly, stainless steel. It's time to make a handle. You can make the handle out of any species of wood, but I've got this really beautiful piece of mahogany left over from an old project. It's 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch, and that's going to be great for this project. To get started, I printed out the handles 1-to-1 on a piece of paper. I'm going to cut them out and glue them to the wood, and then I'll take it over to the bandsaw to rough it out. I'm just trying to remove the bulk of the excess here, so I stay clear of the line. We'll use the router to flush trim things in a bit. In order to round over the edges of small parts, I'm going to take a moment to turn my palm router into a router table. I'm going to do that by simply taking the same board that we used during our snowflake episode to cut a V-notch for our coping saw, and I'm going to mount the router to the underside. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the screws that hold this plate onto the router, and then we'll use that as our template. I first mark where the table is so I can stay clear of it. And then I do a bit of layout by tracing the location of the screw holes as well as the overall size of the router. At the drill press, I cut a large hole for the router bits and then through holes for the screws. I also counterbore for the screw heads and test for clearance. With the palm router, I freehand cut a recess. It doesn't have to be too precise as long as it's large enough to fit the router. At this point, I can mount the router base and get started flush trimming the wood to the steel. To do this, I apply a layer of painter's tape to the handle and the metal, and then use super glue to temporarily hold them together. You'll notice that I also taped together 3 layers of metal, because 1 layer alone was too thin to engage the router's bearing. I worked my way around the entire perimeter and trimmed the other side in the same way. Using a firm putty knife, I could pry apart the pieces and easily remove the tape. To sand the areas that the router couldn't reach, and to shape the curve on the front of the handle, I used this handy little drum sander attachment for my drill press. Back at the router table, I rounded over the edges with 2 different sized bits, and then I used a file to ease the transition between the 2 sizes. I was originally thinking that I'd use through dowels to hold everything together, but decided to use shorter, blind dowels instead. So I drilled shallow holes in the handle and cut the dowels to length. Then I mixed up some 5-minute epoxy and glued everything together. I used painter's tape as an initial clamp, but then added 2 proper clamps while the epoxy cured. Before applying finish, I filed and sanded the handle to remove any excess epoxy and get the surface smooth up to 400 grit. Then I applied 2 coats of cutting board oil, sanding with 400 grit in between coats. I just love how the handle looks, and I'm glad we went with hidden dowels. Now we can put the design to the test on a real pie. After tucking the top layer of crust under the bottom, I used the crimping detail to mark all the way around the top. I also used the center finder to mark and cut vent holes in the top. After the pie is baked, the details can clearly be seen in the crust, making it easy to find that perfect slice of pie.
Well, Sal, for a first attempt at our own custom kitchen utensil, I think it was a successful effort.
Yeah, I love how we were able to put so much functionality into this design and how easy it was to get the metal cut once we finished our ideas.
Yes, and mahogany paired with the stainless steel is just beautiful.
Yeah, and I love how there's also this subtle suggestion that this is actually a high-heeled shoe. It's pretty cool.
Yes. So if this design inspired you to make your own kitchen utensil, or if you have an idea for what we should do next time we tackle one of these things, please leave it in our comments.
And until then, we'll see you on our next make.